Hello, this is Someone Guy in Hawaii with a look at the 2024 Borderlands Winter Hunt, as well as at least 3 spreadsheets you can use to guide your hunt and track your progress. The hunt is a Borderlands tradition, a community-run scavenger hunt wherein players try to obtain a copy of as many legendary and unique items as possible in a set amount of time. It's also a charity event to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. The latest hunt is scheduled for 2 to 11 February. The complete list of rules is linked below, and you need to read them if you plan on participating officially, meaning competing for the top spots. You should probably read them more than once. The last hunt in the summer of 2023 involved Borderlands 3. This hunt happens in Borderlands 2. A Borderlands 2 hunt was last conducted about a year ago. This hunt utilizes the exact same list of items from that hunt, but with notable changes that simplify things. First, there are no points for going up OP levels, so you don't even have to worry about that. You don't even have to run Digistruct Peak. Second, there's no bounty scoring system. There are BL2 hunt items that can drop from a specific source or roll drop. In the previous BL2 hunt, an extra point was awarded if you attained any of those from the dedicated source. That's gone away. Dedicated source or roll drop, it counts the same. So overall, easier. Now, if we compete officially, we will have to claim our drops officially on the hunt website, and that list does track our total score. Beyond that, however, it's not very useful. We can't sort on it. I don't believe we can even search on it for an item. This is the spreadsheet we can download from the official hunt website. It lists everything and provides a lot of useful info, but it's not set up to track our progress and total our score, and sorting is problematic. It's essentially a spreadsheet version of the list of the web page where we officially claim our drops. Okay. This is my spreadsheet downloadable from Google Docs. There is a link to it in the description below. It's sortable, customizable, and tracks our score as we go. It can be downloaded or copied and saved to Google Docs for personal use. I highly suggest you download a copy. FYI, this is an Excel spreadsheet whose full functionality may not work in Google Sheets or other spreadsheet programs. Some conditional formatting may not work when marking an item as found. Some protections designed to prevent accidental editing or deletion of info may also not work. Even without the full functionality, however, they can still be sorted and used to track drops. Just need to be a bit more careful. Now, these arrows above each column are for sorting on any specific column. Click on an arrow, choose A to Z or Z to A, and everything will be sorted that way based on that column. Additionally, if we click on sort and filter up here and then custom sort, we can sort on multiple columns together. So we can custom sort the sheet however we want to meet our specific needs. If you're viewing this in Google Sheets or some other spreadsheet program, there may be different procedures for sorting and filtering. Okay, so let's take a look at the various columns to understand how we might choose to sort things. I will show you how I sort things for the hunt as we go. These two cells in the upper left show the total number of items claimed and the total point score as we go. The first column here, which says claim, is where we log items we found. Remember, this is a personal tracker. We still need to log our claims on the official tracker on the official website to get official credit if competing. Read the rules. Okay. When we want to mark an item as found, find the item and then simply type any character into this cell in the same line as that item and hit return. I recommend the letter X. Okay, this will turn these cells green, add the item point value to our total score, and increase the item total by 1. The next 4 columns show basic item information. These are point values for each item. In general, the harder the object is to attain, the higher the point value. Then item name, type, and a rarity code. Rare is the lowest at 3, then epic at 4, legendary 5, seraph item 6, pearlescent 7, effervescent 8. The color code of these may or may not match that of the official spreadsheet. Bottom line, if we wish to sort by rarity, this is how we do it. The next column, list, if sorted on, lists the items in the same order as the official spreadsheet, and I believe the web page where we can officially claim our drops. Okay, if we're having issues finding an item on the web page, this can be somewhat helpful. Okay, it'll let you figure out roughly where it is on the page. The next 31 columns show information for at least one, and in some cases more than one source for each item. Okay, don't panic. Most items only have one dedicated source and 6 columns. Okay, some have 2, some 3, 4, and in 2 cases 5 possible sources. The additional sources each have the same 6 columns. So source 1, 6 columns. There's content, source, RB or raid boss, location, location code or minimum level, and mission. We'll get to this mission code in a minute. Content means either base game or DLC. The DLC titles are truncated to save space. Additionally, some of these have letters and a possible number after the content name. If there's a U after the source, the item only drops in UVHM, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. If there's a T after the source, it only drops in True Vault Hunter mode, TVHM or above. Okay. A number after the U, 51, 61, or 62, means these only drop from their sources on that player level or higher. Our player must be at that level or higher, or it will not drop from that particular source. Okay. A small s after the U means this is a Seraph item that can be purchased from the appropriate Seraph vendor with Seraph crystals, meaning we don't have to be in UVHM to get it. If we collect enough Seraph crystals and go to the vendor instead the UVHM dedicated source, we can buy the item on any mode, including normal. Okay, so the listed secondary source for these items is Seraph vendor. An asterisk after the U appears on the 8 pearlescent items. These can be obtained from a loot midget at level 51 up, tubbies at 62 up, and the rare spawn OMG WTH at any level. The odds that they will drop from any of these, however, are not the same. Okay. Source is the actual enemy or enemies or other source which can drop the item. RB is for raid boss if the listed source is a raid boss. Raid boss spawning often has its own special requirements. Then comes the map location of that source, which map and sometimes which area where the source is found. L1C or location 1 code lists the item map locations in the order that we gain access to those locations while progressing through the base game story and each DLC. For anything beyond the primary source, it may actually list a minimum OP level if you wish to farm it that way, or it may be blank. Okay. All the non-world drop base game items come first, and the first item in the base game is the Hornet from Knuckle Dragger in Windshear Waste. Next comes Kerblaster from Midgebong in Southern Shelf Bay, then the bonus package, and then the 2 items from Captain Flint, etc. Next is Stuff in Three Horns Divide. Okay, at the very end of the non-world drop base game items are 5 items that only drop from the Warrior in the Vault of the Warrior at the very end of the base game. And then it does this for each DLC, and then world drop items at the very end. Okay. Some may find this useful, but this is not the column I normally sort on. I'll explain why in a second. Okay. Mission is the name of the story or side mission that we have to access and often complete before we can farm for the item, if applicable. Not all items are mission related. Some, like rare spawns, are just out there. Some of these include the same exceedingly rare warning found on the official spreadsheet. Those are the 6 columns to each possible source. If there's a second, third, fourth, and even 5th possible source, each will have these same 6 columns. Now, in between the first and second source columns, however, is the MSN code or mission code column. This is the column I normally sort on when running the hunt. Sorting on this column orders items based on combining the info from the previous 6. It determines the earliest point at which an item can be encountered or farmed, based on content, source, location, and mission, if applicable, including minimum level requirements. Okay, this is important because there are a number of instances where an item location becomes accessible, but the item itself cannot be farmed until we do something else, typically complete 1 or more missions, some of which mean progressing much further into the story and even reaching other maps. A good example is the Layuda and the Varuk from Mobley and Ghetto. These guys appear on the Dust map, which we gain access to right after meeting up with Lilith at the end of the Frostburn Canyon story missions. However, they don't actually appear until we accept the Good, the Bad, and the Mordecai side mission. And that doesn't become available until after we kill Wilhelm and complete the end of the line mission on the Tundra Express map. Okay. Additionally, if we don't accept that mission right away, before we swap out the Bad Energy Core and trigger the Bright Lights Flying City story mission, we will not be able to accept it until after we go through the Fridge, Highlands Outwash, the Highlands, get the Overlook, and eventually restore the fast travel network and get back to Sanctuary, where that mission sits on the mission board. Okay, so this is but one of a number of situations where getting a side mission requires completing another's mission first, sometimes 2 missions. This column sort takes all that into consideration. Okay, I've only done this for the primary source, the first source, the earliest one we counted for each item. Okay. Now, there may be secondary sources that are easier to farm than the primary source, or perhaps you yourself feel are easier. Handsome Sorcerer at the end of the Tiny Tina DLC has the same drop pool as the Warrior, but at over 3 times the drop rate. Some people prefer farming the Handsome Sorcerer, vice the Warrior for that reason. Okay. The Norfleet can drop from both Vermivorous and Hyperius, both raid bosses. Vermivorous has a much higher drop rate than Hyperius. However, Vermivorous only spawns on TVHM or higher and requires getting a Varkit to evolve 5 times. And the chance for just the last evolution from Ultimate Badass Varkit into Vermivorous varies from 10 to 12% depending on the number of players. So while Vermivorous is listed as the primary source because we can encounter him early on and in multiple locations, most players farm Hyperius. Okay, I would suggest you look over the spreadsheet, inspect the items with multiple sources, and then decide for yourself what you prefer to farm and when doing your hunt. Be advised, I may not have researched and listed every second or third or whatever source for every item, especially if the primary source is easily farmable. If you spot any mistakes or would like me to add any of the additional sources I may have missed, at least before the hunt starts, let me know in the comments or contact me via Discord. Okay. Additionally, if my spreadsheet is just too dense and potentially confusing for you, and I can understand that may be the case, there are other spreadsheets out there. A great example is this one linked below from Mystique Siren. She has separate tabs for each content based in DLC. Everything is arranged by location. She's got checkboxes that total your score for each tab and your grand total on each tab. She's even got drop rates for most items, and the rules are summarized on the base tab. FYI, the checkboxes work in Google Docs if you make a copy, but not if you download it as an Excel spreadsheet. In any case, it's clean and efficient and really good looking. Check it out. Anyway, not sure if I'm going to do any additional hunt videos at this time, but I will be out there fundraising come February 2nd. Come say hi, stay safe, and thanks for watching.